Hello, dear friends. Today we will be discussing library operations. So far, we have discussed basic principles of management, what management is, what human resource management is, what are the elements of human resource management, what is performance appraisal, and then even we have seen the other areas of management. But when we talk about the application of management in libraries, then we cannot avoid the application, especially in the different sections of the library. So I'll take up these operations one by one. We have several operations in a library. So as you know that it starts with the acquisition section, then we have technical processing. Technicals we also call it as a processing section or technical section, and then we have a periodical section, then we have maintenance section, and then we have circulation section, that is foremost important, because most of the user they know library through circulation section only. But these are all behind the scene activities. If we talk about acquisition, technical section, they all are performing behind the scene. Means user doesn't know what is going on, but actual preparation of the book is done in the acquisition section and processing section or technical section. So we'll try to understand in this lecture. We'll try to understand what this acquisition section is doing actually. Dear friends, I'm Professor M. Masoom Raza from Department of Library Information Science, AMU, Aligarh. Today we'll talk about various library operations which we need to have in a university library for final acquisition and processing of books, from acquisition to dissemination. The several sections are doing their task. Some of the tasks they are users they can see what is in front of them, what is visible to them, what they are actually using. But some of the sections or some of the activities which a user is not able to see, those are being performed, and they are, you can say, simply behind the scene activities. Just like acquisition and technical processing, these are all activities which are done behind the scene activity. We call it as a behind the scene activities. User is not able to interact neither with the acquisition section or with the technical section. But since to formalize things and to see that the user get the right amount of service, right time, the book is delivered to him at the right time. So what needs to be done is these sections they have to be on their toes. Acquisition is supposed to acquire the books. We'll see how this acquisition takes place. Then the processing section will process the books, means they are technically processing it, means we're classifying, cataloging, labeling, pasting, all those things are done. And when the book is ready, then it is to be shifted on the stack area. Then again, your technical section comes into play, where all the shelf lists, catalog cards, everything has to be in place. Then only user will be able to get the book without wastage of time. Means the complete bibliographic description is available in the catalogs as well as in the shelf list. So I'll in the just beginning, I'll acquaint you with the acquisition section, what they perform and how they perform. So I'll be discussing this content. I'll just introduce what this acquisition section is. Then we will talk about different sections of a university library, and then we will concentrate only on the acquisition section, where we will talk about the objectives, process, and methods. So what are the different sections, especially in a university library? As I told you, we have acquisition section, technical service section, then we have circulation section, periodical section, maintenance section, and reference section. The acquisition section is basically responsible for acquiring new materials for the library's collection. This involves researching, selecting, ordering, and receiving books, periodicals, audiovisual materials, and electronic resources. And normally, we avoid purchasing periodicals in this section because we have an independent section for periodicals. So if the section is not separate, then even this acquisition is responsible for processing or acquiring periodicals. Otherwise, the periodical sections will be dealt in the periodical section. And electronic resources also. So acquisition staff basically liaises with vendor, publishers, and donors to procure materials that meet the library's collection, development goals, and budgetary constraints. So what this technical section will do, basically the technical service section is also known as cataloging and processing, is responsible for organizing and preparing library materials for use. This includes basically cataloging, classification, labeling, and processing new materials to make them discoverable and accessible to users. Technical services staff create bibliographic records, assign call numbers, and ensure that materials are accurately described and indexed in the library's catalog. Just I'm giving you a brief overview what these sections are doing. We'll be covering all these sections in detail also. Circulation section. This is just upfront surface where users normally have direct interaction with the circulation section. The user is supposed to just go through the OPAC or the card form of library catalog. They will get the bibliographic details, go to the stack area, collect the documents, and then straight away come to the circulation section if they want to get it issued. Or you can say if they want to literally get it issued for a certain period of time, then definitely they have to interact with the circulation section. So most of the users, those who are members of the library, at least they know what circulation section is. But as students of library sciences, we have to know all the sections. The sections which are performing the front desk services, and the sections which are performing your background services, or you can say behind the scene activities. So all those sections we have to cover. So this circulation section basically manages borrowing and returning of library materials. So circulation staff issues library cards, check out materials to patrons, renew loans, process returns, and manage overdue fines and fees. They also handle requests to hold interlibrary loans and reserve, as well as assist patron to inquire about the circulation policies and procedures. Then we have one more prominent section which normally you will find in the university libraries, that is periodical section. So as the name itself is sufficient to or very explicit to make you understand that this section will be dealing with a particular kind of material, and what is the specialty of the materials which are procured by the periodical section, that all these material will have certain periodicity, certain frequency, certain time interval will be there, and they are something which are on a not means it is a one-time processing. Means once you subscribe to a periodical, basically instead of purchasing or instead of acquiring, we use the word subscription. Basically, when you subscribe a periodical, you have to keep track of all the issues. So these are unending publications, which normally whenever university or any library for that matter, if subscribes to any title which are considered as periodicals, means they have to keep track of all those issues until unless the volume completes. So this section basically contains newspaper. As you know, newspaper is also a periodical, because it has got a certain frequency, a certain periodicity. Means you will find that after every 24 hours you will get one issue. So altogether about 362 issues make one volume, especially if we talk about the periodicals. Whereas in case of magazines and journals, the periodicity can differ. It can be fortnightly, it can be monthly, it can be quarterly, it can be bi-monthly, it can be 6 monthly, or it can be yearly. So these type of publications which have certain frequency, I told you, which have certain frequency or which have certain periodicity, they are to be acquired in a different section, and that section is considered as periodical section. And this section will not only procure the periodicals but also process it, and will also be responsible for disseminating the information also. So this contains magazines also, journals also, other serial publications. The common term which you will find somewhere you will be able to get a serial, somewhere periodical, or somewhere you will even get the journals. So all these three terms, serial, periodicals, and journals, they are all synonymous, and synonymously they are used in different libraries, and the implication is same. Means any publication which has got certain periodicity, which has got certain time interval, which has got certain you can say time gap. So, and the time gap is fixed, is not going to alter. If a certain title is monthly, means after every month, means in every month you will be getting one issue. If any title is quarterly, means after every 3 months you will be getting that issue. So you have to be on your toes to get those issues, process it, and then you have to disseminate that information to the concerned users also. The users normally can browse the current and back issues of the periodicals for research, current events, or leisure reading. Periodicals staff manage subscription, process new issues, and maintain periodical indexes and databases to facilitate access to articles and publications. Then we have a section that is very commonly known as maintenance section. Again, it is a service which is behind the scene activity. Nobody is able to see apparently, but this section is on their toes to keep everything readily accessible for the users. The maintenance section of a library is a crucial department, and it is tasked with preserving the physical infrastructure and functionality of the library's facilities. It encompasses various tasks aimed at ensuring the cleanliness, safety, and overall maintenance of the library environment. Then, prominently, all of us know that we have one more section, that is reference section. So, reference section basically it houses reference materials and provides assistance to users seeking information and research support. Reference librarians and staff help users navigate the library's resources, locate information, and answer reference questions. The reference collection includes encyclopedias, dictionaries, directories, bibliographies, biographies, and other specialized reference works. So the job is to provide the reference service. So this section also, they have to be equipped with all the reference sources so that they can give the prompt service to their users or patrons. Now coming to acquisition section. So this acquisition section of a library basically serves as a vital gateway through which diverse and valuable resources enter the library's collection, enriching the intellectual landscape and supporting the educational and research endeavors of its user. This section is tasked with the strategic and meticulous procurement of materials, ranging from traditional print publications to cutting edge digital resources, ensuring that the library remains a dynamic and responsive hub of knowledge dissemination. In the last lecture, we have already discussed what are the selection principles, book selection principles, and we have discussed what are the book selection tools. So, definitely, whenever we are going for acquisition, we have to keep all those principles in mind and we have to consult all those tools well in time. And we have a provision for every library, we have a provision of book selection committees also. The committees basically comprises of responsible people where the librarian, chairperson, some members from the student community, some members from the faculty, they all contribute to the selection of books with the help of book selection tools. Because the selection of books is the most dynamic thing. Whenever through any tool, whether it is a catalog or it's a bibliography or for that matter it is a review, you have to go through all the committee members, they have to go through it, select the books, because ultimately you are literally spending money, and that money should be worth, it is a hard earned money, and you have to be very careful and very judicious while doing the selection. At the heart of the acquisition section lies a multifaceted process that begins with the identification of the library's information, needs, and extends to be careful selection, acquisition, and integration of materials into the collection. Working in tandem with the library staff, faculty, and users, this section navigates the complex landscape of publishing, vendor relations, and budget management to acquire materials that align with the library's mission and collection development goals. Especially in the era of rapid technological advancement and evolving information landscapes, the acquisition section embraces innovation and adaptability, embracing emerging formats and digital platforms to meet the evolving needs of the users. By staying abreast of the emerging trends and best practices in the collection development, the acquisition section ensures that the library remains a dynamic and responsive resource hub, empowering users to explore, discover, and engage with knowledge in all its forms. So, in the next, now we will discuss the objectives of acquisition section. Objectives basically, uh, I've tried to list it. Um, how they are identifying the information needs, how they are selecting relevant materials, and then what the budget management is, what vendor relation is, what is streamlining, how to streamline acquisition processes, then how to ensure collection diversity and equity, and how to evaluate the excess collection, how to basically, and how to promote the access to information. Basically, the objectives of acquisition section is aimed at efficiently and effectively building and maintaining a comprehensive collection of resources that meets the informational, educational, and recreational needs of the library users. Here, some of the objectives will be outlined. Number one, as I told you, identify information needs. The acquisition section basically should understand the information needs and interest of the library users community, and this involves collaborating with library staff, faculty, students, and other stakeholders to identify gaps in the collection and prioritize acquisitions accordingly. Then the next objective is to select the relevant materials. Acquiring materials that are relevant, current, and of high quality is essential. The acquisition section must carefully evaluate potential acquisitions based on factors such as accuracy, authority, currency, and relevance to the library's mission and collection development policy. So, another objective is budget management, because you know that budget is limited, and this section is basically responsible to see the priorities. What is the priority right now? So accordingly, they have to decide what to be purchased in this session, and the rest of the things they can defer it for the next session. So just to effectively manage the library's acquisition budget is a critical objective here. The acquisition section must allocate funds strategically, negotiate favorable pricing with vendors, and prioritize acquisitions to ensure that the collection remains within budgetary limits, because you cannot you cannot cross budgetary limit. The moment you cross it, the library will start running in debt. So that is not a good sign for the library. Third most important objective is vendor relations. Building and maintaining positive relationships with the vendor, publishers, and supplier is also important for acquiring materials efficiently and cost effectively. The acquisition section must negotiate contracts, monitor vendor performance, and explore opportunities for discounts and special offers. The next objective is streamlining the acquisition processes. Implementing streamlined and efficient acquisition processes is essential for timely and accurately procurement of materials. This involves leveraging automation and technology to simplify tasks such as order placement, receipt verification, invoicing, and cataloging. Another objective is just to ensure collection diversity and equity. The acquisition section must strive to build a diverse and inclusive collection that reflects the culture, linguistic, and informational needs of the library diverse user community. And this involves acquiring materials in multiple formats, languages, and subject areas to ensure equitable access to all users. Means equal access to all the users basically. Next important objective is to evaluate and assess collection. Regular evaluation. Regular evaluation is very important here. Evaluation and assessment of the library's collection are necessary to ensure its continued relevance and effectiveness. The acquisition section must gather feedback from users, analyze usage statistics, and assess the quality and currency of materials to make informed decisions about the collection development. And the last objective is to promote access to information. Facilitating access to information is a core objective of the acquisition section. This involves acquiring materials in accessible formats, providing remote access to digital resources, and implementing policies and procedures to ensure that all users can easily discover and use library material. And the traditional way of doing it is very simple. Come out with the latest list of acquisitions, whatever you have procured, whatever you have acquired. So just come out with the latest acquisitions, list of acquisitions, and all those bibliographic details, complete list, can be put up on the notice board, and it can be notified, it can be circulated across the library, or it can be across the departments, so that the students or the faculty members or anybody from the user community should come to know what are the latest acquisitions. The latest acquisitions have to be highlighted. You adopt traditional way of putting on the notice board, or simply by putting on the any website or library website, or it can be through any social platform that we can do. Now we will discuss the process of acquisition. The process of acquisition I've listed under 9 heads that we'll be discussing one by one. So we'll start with the document request. So the process basically involves several steps. One by one we will be discussing it. The first step is document request. Users recommend important documents they find useful either directly to the library or through various tools such as bibliographies, catalogs, book reviews, or recommendations from the publishers. The library staff often, in consultation with experts, select documents based on these requests. Then the next step is go for the duplicate checking, or this is a pre-order format to go for the duplicate checking. The requests for the documents are checked to avoid duplication within the library's collection. Normally what happens if without cross-checking, if we are doing it, so probably it might happen that it will lead to the wastage of money, and we'll be acquiring the same titles again and again. The same title, same edition, if just suppose it is available in your inventory, no use of buying it and spending money, just a wastage. It will be sheer wastage of money. So what is to be done is first to go for the duplicate checking. Check it first. If it is available in your stock, then again check the title, again check the edition, and then ensure that you are going to buy the new edition of it. And if it is not the new edition, if the same edition is there, same title is there, and same publisher, everything is same, then better to avoid it. And until unless you deliberately you are doing it because you need more copies of it, because the usage is high and you have limited copies, so deliberately if you are doing it, well and good. But if unknowingly if it is being done, so that will be counted as a sheer wastage of money. So that's why this process is quite useful. Before ordering, one should go for the duplicate check. If a requested document is already available in the collection, it is marked as duplicate unless multiple copies are needed. That is must. Then obtaining approval, that is a third step. Before placing the purchase order, libraries seek approval from the competent authority, and the library prepares a list of books with necessary details and submits it for approval. Once approved, the list is updated in the acquisition system. Next in the process is preparing and mailing orders. The approved documents are ordered from different vendors, suppliers based on their efficiency. The acquisition system allows the staff to create orders for each vendor, including approved titles. Orders are placed and purchase orders can be sent directly via mail. So now things have changed. Earlier we used to print it, give a printed copy, and we used to have the triplicate copies. One we used to keep it in the library, other to the vendor, and third to the concerned department. But now since we have the mailing facility, so directly we can mail and we can have the CC or BCC copies to different sections or departments. Next in the order is receiving documents. When the documents are received, means once it has been ordered, definitely the job of the vendor will be to collect all the books and supply it well in time as per the decided, as per the agreement between the two parties. Whenever the documents will be supplied to the library, and then it has to be entered in the acquisition system. The system allows for receiving documents from specific orders, updating their status from ordered to received. Normally, this is a software terminology where you call it a order, and then later on when you receive it, it is changed to received and assigned accession numbers. So once you have assigned accession numbers, means that is now your document. It is your library, particularly your library's document. So that is one of the important record here, that you have to maintain in the accession register. So next in the process is verification and modification of bibliographic information. Before processing, bibliographic details are verified accurately, that whatever we are receiving, that is as per the order, the complete bibliographic information matches, means title, edition, publisher, everything matches. When everything matches, then only you should process it. The acquisition system allows for necessary changes before documents are processed for accessioning and invoicing. The next step in this process is processing invoice and accessioning of documents. So basically, the invoice details are entered into the system and administrative information is fetched from the master databases. Documents are accessioned by assigning accession numbers and calculating invoice values. Payment approval processes are initiated and payment details are recorded. This is again, when you are in the system, you have to follow these things. And especially in case of in a traditional format, we used to have two kind of systems. Once everything has been processed, then you have to means after recording everything in the accession register, means now you are owning the document, then the payment is processed. Payment also, it is processed in the two different ways. One is pre-audit and post-audit. When I say post-audit, means it is it is first acquired and then the auditing will take place. And pre-audit is first the auditing goes on. We have when for financial processing, we have again two systems in the traditional system. This is pre-audit and post-audit. Pre-audit, where audit is done before the final processing, and in the post-audit system, when it is all processed, then randomly audit can be done for a particular month or if a particular 2 months, 3 months. So that is a post-audit system, just to keep check that everything is in order. Then we have next in the process is reminder for outstanding documents. A lead time facility in the system generates reminders for outstanding documents based on the normal delivery times. Means if anything is getting delayed, automatically the reminder will be generated and it will be delivered to the concerned vendor. If the documents are not received within the grace period, reminders are sent to the vendor. So this is a system predefined. So whenever the grace period is over, which normally we allow the grace period also, because there was a provision of grace period in the Dr. Ranganathan's time also. But that was especially meant for the periodicals, not for the books. But here the grace period is means you know what the time is, delivery time is, and if it's not delivering within the normal time, just suppose if 15 days are given, if somebody is not supplying within 15 days, automatically the system will take the grace period, and after grace period, the reminders will be issued to the vendors. And the last in this process is cancellation of outstanding orders. If the documents are not supplied within the grace period, and they are treated as cancelled, and automatic notifications are sent to the vendors, and the library may place order for the cancelled items with alternative vendors if necessary. So this is how things operate in the acquisition section. So what are the different methods of acquisition? Now we'll discuss. There are 8 common acquisition methods employed by the library to acquire and expand their collection. One is firm order. Basically, what the firm order is, it involves libraries directly specifying the items they wish to acquire. This could be a particular book, a textbook, or a journal. Libraries place these orders with the vendors or publishers, ensuring they receive the exact material they need. Then the second type of acquisition is standing orders. Standing orders are predetermined commitments to acquire all materials within a certain category or subject area. This method ensures that the library automatically receives new volumes in the series without having to place individual orders each time. Third method is approval plan. Approval plans are agreements between the libraries and the vendors, wherein the vendors sends a selection of materials covering various topics or subject areas. Libraries review these materials and decide which one to add to their collections. Another method of acquiring is blanket orders. Basically, blanket orders involve libraries making a comprehensive commitment to acquire all materials related to a specific topic or field from a particular publisher or vendor. Another method of acquisition is subscription. Basically, subscription is more common for the periodicals. Subscriptions are basically contracts between the libraries and publishers or vendors for the ongoing receipt of periodicals, journals, newspapers, or other serial publications. And then the next method is leases. Leases provide libraries with access to specific electronic resources such as databases, journals, or digital archives for a defined period. Then, more prominent is gift. There's also a method of acquisition. Libraries may accept donations of the material from individuals, organizations, or alumni. These gifts are evaluated by the acquisition departments to determine their suitability for inclusion in the library's collection. Then we have a very common method, that is exchange. Exchanges involve the reciprocal sharing of materials between libraries or institutions. This can include exchanging duplicate or surplus materials within a library system or consortium, as well as swapping new material with other institutions to diversify collections and expand access to resources. Exchanges foster collaboration and resource sharing among libraries, benefiting both parties involved. Thank you.